kicking it off with you. Starting things off strong here, right? Like yelling at you right out of the chute here, live with you on this Thursday in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau insurance agents across the great state of Mississippi. Hometown heroes. We call them that because that's what they are. When you need them, you've got them. Welcome into the Bureau. The Farm Bureau studio, I'm Matt, connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. I'm here, JB's here. Most importantly, you are here. And there's lots of ways for you to be a part of the show. Hope you'll tune in and be a part of the show. Comment. You can say hi to me on the live stream if you're tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Hey to y'all! Feel free to drop a comment, question, opinion, otherwise response. We'll get it in that way, wherever you're tuning in online. You can text me, not if you're driving. If you're driving, 10 and 2, two hands on the wheel, pay attention. Just listen. Otherwise, feel free to text away on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. 885-ESPN. It's a 601 number. 885-ESPN or 885-3776. Call me on the Davini phone. Love to hear your voice today, so y'all give me a call. It's 995-1059. 601 number, 995-1059. There is basketball going on right now as we speak. SEC Women's Tournament. Looks like State's going to get bounced up out of there. You had an 8 versus 9 matchup right here. LSU, the 8 seed. Mississippi State, the 9. LSU right now with an 11-point lead. Closing it out. There's 18 seconds left, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, you know, what has kind of been just an awful year for the most part for Mississippi State women's basketball. Just awful. About to draw to a close here. Well, I don't know about that. They're in the NCAA tournament, yeah. I mean, but at this point, this is just more of the same. I don't think anybody really had any expectation that team would go in there and figure out a way to win the game. Right now, yeah, that's it, 71-62. I guess they hit a shot right at the end, but it'll be a 9-point loss for State in the SEC Women's Tournament. And so it has just been an awful, awful year. And I think, yes, a lot of it has to do with you compare this team with the Vic Schaefer teams up through last year, and there is no comparison. That's the thing about it. There is no comparison. And they've been hard to watch for the most part this year too. They're not going out here and getting run off the floor week in and week out. They're not, and they do have some wins. But man, oh man, it has not looked good for the most part. They've had circles run around them. And again, today, I turned it on for a stretch there in the fourth quarter after watching pretty much all the first half and turn on there for a stretch in the fourth quarter. Very key stretch. They had cut it to, I think, 7. They either cut it to 7 or 8 and have a chance. If you get a stop, you get the ball back, you got a chance to go down here and make it a 2-possession game in the fourth quarter. And LSU fired up about 3 different prayers and drew iron on each one and went and got offensive rebounds every time. Just got possession after possession after possession because State's players are so slow to the basketball off the rim. And then so, that's just more of the same. So a 9-point loss to an 8 seed LSU in the SEC Women's Tournament. That'll do it for the tournament for State. On to the next thing. We'll see what's next. All right, so that's the immediate update. That just happened as we speak. Of course, you got baseball that happened last night. State's pitching was, you can pick any number of terms. Dominant, lights out, 20 strikeouts in that game last night for Mississippi State pitching. That's just incredible. 20 strikeouts.
That's not a normal Scott Berry team right there.
No, it's not.
I'm not saying, that the State pitching was bad and they just swung at bad pitches. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying Scott Berry's team usually put the bat on the ball and put it in play.
Yeah. I mean, and it was just
strikeouts was amazing.
Well, and here's what's even okay. I don't know if this is just fair to say. Okay, this element of that stat is even more amazing. But what I'm saying is, this is telling, like you're talking about, okay, it's not a normal team in terms of putting bat on the ball. When you look at the comparison, JB, there were 20 strikeouts in the game.
Yeah.
Only 3 of those 20 strikeouts were looking, meaning 17 of the 20 strikeouts, the guy's swinging, trying to hit the ball. He just doesn't touch it.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. Okay, but like you said, maybe it's not a normal offensive team for Scott Berry. It sure didn't look like it last night. But the fact is, we've got a little bitty, teeny tiny cross section so far at the start of the season of, what are we now, 8 games into the year for State pitching, and they are a big-time strikeout staff. They just are. I tweeted this earlier today. Actually, it was really early this morning. So 8 games, none of those have gone extra innings for State. And in 6 of the 8 games, that pitching staff has piled up double-digit strikeouts. The only times they didn't, it's kind of interesting how this works out, but the fewest strikeouts by a Mississippi State staff in a game this year was actually against Jackson State. State only struck out 7 batters in that game. And then in the loss to TCU in that second game of the year, they only struck out 8. Outside of that, when they played Texas, they struck out 18. Against Texas Tech, they struck out 15. In the Tulane series, all 3 games, they went 14, 15, and 14 strikeouts. And then they come out there last night against Southern Miss in the midweek and go for 20 strikeouts. Houston Harding, the starting pitcher, goes 5 innings, strikes out 9 of the 19 batters he faced. When he left the game, after he left the game, 15 more Southern Miss players came to the plate. 11 of them struck out. The last 15, once State went to the bullpen, look at it that way. Once State went to the bullpen, 15 more batters came to the plate for Southern Miss. 11 of the 15 struck out. It's just like swing and a miss, swing and a miss. I think it was a combination of they couldn't hit it and State was just on fire on the mound. That's how you pile up 20 strikeouts in a ball game. So plenty there to talk about as well. I'll get to your comments coming up on the live stream. Hey to everybody who's jumped in. Jason, I guess the game's over. You can stop yelling at your TV. Then I'm coming to you on the text line in just a bit. Woodrow and Micah and Denzel, all of y'all. But first up, Chris, right out of the chute, with us on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. They got their Turf Week starting on Saturday. Big-time deals going on starting this coming Saturday. And I'll tell you about some of those throughout the show. Chris, thanks for calling. What's up?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure you can hear me better today.
Sound good.
My Bluetooth
Yeah.
was messing up on me yesterday. First things first, what I was trying to say yesterday, and it's just like, okay, so everybody said, well, personal accountability, this and that, whatever. But my point is that we have a cancel culture that started with my group of people and has gotten even worse. And, parents save kids constantly. So that's what I'm saying about personal accountability. Everybody needs to start, if you feel like you're sick, put a mask on, and that's just all I'm going to say about that. Second thing is that, hey, Mississippi State fans, don't jump up in arms when we lose Foxhall at the end of the year because we're probably going to lose him. And, that is just – I know what JB's saying, but, the way that I was listening last night and they were pitching those guys, that had to be one heck of a game plan. And it has been one heck of a game plan all year. Every one of our guys has a great changeup. And it's just – man, we have the rags of the riches of just young pitchers that are amazing.
Mm. And are using a bunch of them. Chris, here's the thing about it. 21 different pitchers have been on the mound at some point for Mississippi State in the first 8 games.
Yeah, and I will say I'm going to make a real good hot take. It may not be very hot take-ish, but just hang in there, State baseball fans, because we're going to get our national title in the next 2 years. And third thing is, I loved absolutely everything you were saying about Kentucky yesterday. and John Calipari. And you know what, State fans, it's time for y'all to come up in arms. I'm sorry, Nikki McRae Penson, what you put on the court this year was just absolutely demonstrative. I mean, it was just awful. And I don't think she deserves another year, Matt. It's just my opinion. And if we accept another year of that, then get ready to go back to what we had before Vic Schaefer. Because you're going to have a really hard time keeping these players. You're going to have a really hard time trying to get a real good coach in here that wants to come back in here and rebuild this program. You've already got it halfway built, and it just needs a few pieces here and there and a good coach, and I just don't think she's the good coach. Y'all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Chris. A lot there in the call from Chris. You know, just on the last thing about Nikki McRae Penson, I don't know that I'm, in there on go ahead and, make a change again after 1 year. Unless there's something inside that program that's causing all of this that we don't know that you'd know if you're there. Because it seems inevitable that you're going to have a rash of transfers. Maybe you don't. I mean, I'll kind of be surprised if you don't. I just don't know what to think about it. It's one thing for teams to out-talent you or to be, just have better players, or maybe they're further along, or, coaching change. It takes a time for a different system to set and all this kind of stuff. But when you're just basically like, a good portion of your team don't appear to be in as good a shape as their opponents, the teams you're playing against just play so much harder than you do. Maybe that has to do with being confused. Like Darryl Royal said, it's impossible to be aggressive and confused at the same time. Well, okay, well, eliminate the confusion just so you can play hard. I mean, it's just so. Chris, I mean, I don't know how you go out there and you make a change after that at 1 year. Because, am I right? I mean, if you make a change, you're still going to have transfers.
This is eerily similar to the Rick Ray situation.
Yeah. Well, and it's similar maybe, or seems like it, but the thing is, JB, like, State's men's team under Rick Stansberry the year or two prior to Rick Ray coming in,
right,
was not nearly as good as the women's team has been under Vic.
No, you're right. You're right.
And
Rick was trending down. That's definitely sure.
But to your point, it has that deflating, just rock bottom feeling to it.
Yeah, somebody just pulled the rug out from under you.
Okay, and if
how do you go from being so good to being so not good? Yeah,
and if half your team transfers, and we don't know that. This is a speculation thing, but if a good portion of your team transfers, if 2 or 3 of your better players transfer, well, I got news for you. Whether it's Nikki McRae Penson coaching next year or somebody else, you still now have hit the reset button. That's just what it is. That's the disappointing thing about it. So the only decision is, what is the quickest way to get it back on the tracks with a full head of steam? What's the quickest way to do that? Well, the quickest way to do that may be not to make a coaching change right now. I got news for you. Now, who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. But it looks pretty rough. Hey, and on the baseball thing. Yeah, okay, so 20 strikeouts last night for State, but still they only score 4 runs. And these last few ball games now, they're leaving some people on base. State goes out there last night, scores 4 runs. That's 4 runs on 9 hits. You held Southern Miss to 1 run on 3 hits. State has 4 runs on 9 hits, but you left 9 guys on base. Left the bases loaded at least once. And that was a problem in the Tulane series. It kept, you had 2 ninth inning comebacks, walk-offs. But I know in the third game against Tulane, third game of the weekend, there was at least twice they had the bases loaded and didn't come up with anything. And either one of those, you get a ball through the infield, you're not sitting there making a comeback in the ninth inning. So you're leaving a lot of guys on base. But it's going to come around. It's like Rowdy Jordan at the top of the lineup right now. I mean, he's sub 200, but we all know, we've seen it throughout his entire career. He is so streaky. You have to put up with this streak, and thankfully it's this time of year happening to him. This time you put up with this type of streak where he's trying to figure it out. It just seems like it happens every year. And Rowdy, once the light bulb does come on, once he does figure it out, he'll be one of the best hitters in the country. It's just the way it's been throughout his career, every year. And even Jake Gautreau, the hitting coach at State, kind of says that about him over and over again. He's just streaky. I think they're going to be okay. You do wonder about consistent power. There is no Rooker in the lineup. Logan Tanner, young catcher, I mean, he's outstanding. And he goes 2 for 4 last night, drives in 2 runs. He's got the opportunity. I mean, he's got power. And as he starts to see more pitching, he'll start to drive some out of the ballpark maybe a little more often. When you see left-handed pitchers, you're going to get Cumbest in there, and he's got the strength to hit it out. Cumbest goes 2 for 3 last night, by the way. The tight end on the football team goes 2 for 3 last night in the game against Southern Miss with a double and a triple. And the sad thing was, he had the double late in the ball game and has to come out because we can't see it, but according to the radio, something happens to him sliding into second base, and he had to leave the ball game. I haven't heard anything, but hopefully it's a like season-threatening type of injury for him, whatever it was. Hopefully it's something that, he comes back from is not that big a deal. He's got real power, and his at-bats and experience are starting to build up a little bit as a right-handed bat. And as you see some left-handed pitching, he's going to have an opportunity some. But, I look at Hatcher too, like the first baseman, the senior guy, left-hander, and Hatcher can really hit for power. Right now, he's just kind of scuttling a little bit here in the early part of the year. Last night, he goes 0 for 4. Against Tulane, he saw some left-handed stuff and left-handed breaking balls, and he's always fought like crazy his whole career. But he's another one who we've seen it throughout his career. He'll just dial it in as the season goes on, and he'll start to really hit the baseball late in the year as the at-bats kind of pile up for him. So, I think they're going to be okay. And you got Kent State coming in there. I was looking up Kent State baseball, learning a little bit about them as they get ready to come into Starkville this weekend. You may find this interesting. Kent State's head coach is Jeff Duncan. He is a former major leaguer. Yep. Now, I'm not sure I remember there exactly where he played in college. But
is he a catcher?
No, he was an outfielder.
Okay.
He was an outfielder.
I guess I'm thinking of Dave Duncan.
This guy played for the Mets for in 04, 05, maybe 05, 06, somewhere in there for a couple of years with the Mets. He also spent some time with a couple other teams, including Toronto, but very highly thought of. But, yeah, I mean, he was he was in the bigs for at least 2-3 seasons there. And then the pitching coach is a name that the older ones of us, JB, might remember this name. But this guy's been there at Kent State as the pitching coach for a long time. Is really highly thought of. His name is Mike Birkbeck, Birkbeck. Mike Birkbeck. He's been the national pitching coach or national assistant of the year several times, stuff like that. But he had a significant career in the major leagues. He made his major league debut. He was a pitcher. Made his major league debut in '86 with the Brewers, and his last appearance in the big league was in '95 with the Mets. So you're talking about the better part of 10 seasons he spends in the major leagues.
Got him a nice little pension, I'm sure.
Yeah. And that was actually not a steady 10 years in the big leagues, but he was up with the Brewers 86, 87, 88, 89, and he's on their staff.
I remember him now because that's when Matt Talbert was doing his stints with the Twins about the same time. So, yeah.
All right, let's see. And then the Mets, he was up with the Mets in 92 and then back up with them again in 95.
But
Yeah.
you said he closed out his career in 04 and 05?
No. You're thinking of two different guys. I've moved on to a different guy. You
Okay,
were on
I'm
the
sorry.
phone.
My bad.
The guy that I'm on
Sorry
now
about
is
that.
Mike Birkbeck, the pitching
Okay,
coach.
the pitching coach. I got you.
All right, he's older. Okay, he was a starting pitcher for the Brewers in the '80s, mid to late '80s, and then a couple of years there, mid to early to mid '90s. The head coach at Kent State, JB, is Jeff Duncan. He's the one who was up with the Mets. He was an outfielder for the Mets, left-handed throwing outfielder for the Mets in like 04, 05. It might have been 05, 06, but right there about that same time. But anyway, that's your coaching staff for Kent State. It's a group. They were in the College World Series back in 2012, made it to Omaha. They've kind of dominated MAC baseball for all intents and purposes these last several years. And in 2018, they were had an unbelievable record, 40-something and 18 that year in 2018. So I think it's a good baseball program that's coming in there this weekend. In fact, I think it's a lot better one than what you were going to see from Tennessee Tech. So just make that note. All right, just getting started. When we come back, we're going to rapid fire. Over to the phone, talk to Lynn, then we'll see what you've got for me on the live stream, all your comments and texts coming up. Y'all stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true.
Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world.
Let's dive in and see what we have here.
Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt.
Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount.
They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, This is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange.
Red alert! Red alert! It's back to the Matt Wyatt Show on the 50,000 watt sports powerhouse. ESPN 105.9 The Zone and streaming.
Check it out online now
at thezone1059.com.
All right. Back with you. I'm Matt here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team, if you're just tuning in, Mississippi State women's basketball 9-point loss to LSU today in the first round of the SEC basketball tournament. Jason said earlier on Facebook, yelling at the TV, the ladies basketball team has regressed back to the old days. Let's progress over here to the Davini Equipment phone line where Lynn has been patiently waiting. Lynn, thanks for calling, man. What's up?
How about it, Matt? How about it? The full baseball mode. How about you?
Full on. I'm ready. Sunshine, warm temps. Let's play ball.
Great. Hey, look, our baseball team is looking really pretty good. We're getting some excellent pitching, especially with the strikeouts and stuff like that. Our hitting, I'm not too worried about our hitting because we're stringing together hits. You know what I mean? We're getting them in bunches, and we're getting a lot of timely hitting, and the hitting will come. The biggest concern I see, especially considering the fact we are striking out so many guys, we are making way too many errors in the field.
Mm-hmm.
We're bobbling balls. We're in the outfield. We're dropping them in the infield. We're overthrowing guys. That's got to get fixed before SEC player. We're going to really have a problem like that.
Well, and here's what worries me,
especially
Lynn,
given the strikeouts we're getting.
Yeah, and you're going to need them. And you probably, those strikeout numbers, you would think as the scouting report continues to grow and the book gets thicker and thicker on all your pitching staff, you get into SEC play, not only do they have more of a scouting report on you, you do have a scouting report on them, but you're seeing better players week in and week out and get to the SEC schedule. So you're going to need swings and misses because here's what worries me. That being, to this point anyway, I know we're 8 games in, but being the worst fielding team among the SECers, like right now, if you look at fielding percentage, State is last. I just can't help.
Like 7 something, ain't it?
Yeah. I don't know what the number is, but it's way down there. I just know they're 14 out of the 14 teams right now at this point. And somebody might go, well, it's a fluke. It's early. What scares –
I hope so.
I do too, but that scares me because if it's I tend to want to think it's not a fluke, and you kind of, at this point, you are what you are defensively, sort of. And, yeah, you can get better and eliminate some throughout the year, but it's, to me, that's not a quick fix. And
no.
So they're going to have to pitch it well for sure.
Well, that was really all I have, Matt. I mean, I don't want to be negative Nancy or nothing like that. I got a good feeling about the team this year. I just but we've got to improve and defensively in the field. It's just there's no way around that.
No
that's really all I had to say about it. I'm gonna get off here and listen to y'all, and we'll talk at you later, man.
Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate it. Yeah. Let's see what. Maybe I have the number here. Let's see. Overall stats. Yeah. I guess I could pull them up here. Where's that fielding position stat or fielding percentage stat? It's really important, but you have to scroll down to like the 4th page to find it. Anyway, when I can, here it is. Now, I don't think this includes last night. No. Well, yeah, I don't think this includes last night. So this was before last night's game. But just on the year, fielding percentage, Arkansas was best in the SEC at 988. Ole Miss is 2. Well, really, 3 teams tied for second best fielding percentage: Ole Miss, Georgia, and Auburn. You got Vandy and LSU right there in the top 5. State's at the bottom of the SEC, 951 fielding. And again, it's early, 8 games in, and so what I hope is that I'm just, a fraidy cat fan, that's a fluke thing and it'll get much better for them. And, it doesn't really matter what just happened or what the numbers are as long as you're really good going forward and get into SEC play. Florida is 13th out of the 14 teams fielding percentage at 956. So we're early in the year, but that's kind of where it is. And Lynn, I think you're right. You've got to cut down on that stuff. And, if nothing else, just a more consistent making some of those routine plays. And they make them, they're an SEC team. But if you have any weakness, it will show up, man. When you get into SEC play, it will show up if you have a weakness. All right, here we go. Country Pleasing text line, Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. 885-ESPN, that's the number to text. Let's see here. What did Jeremy say? Look at this. Jeremy sent me a picture from last night's game at Trustmark Park in Pearl. There's a table over there with a great big red Country Pleasing brand pig, ceramic pig sitting up on it. Looks like they're up the third baseline there in the concourse. Says, great being at the game last night. Good crowd, but the food lines were awful. I stood in line from the 2nd to the 5th inning and still didn't get any food. What? Trying to get me one of those Country Pleasing sausage dogs. I see. Well, at least, in a ballpark where even though you're in line, you still have a view of the field, right? Jeremy had a question. He said, who fell out of the fan base's good graces faster, Joe Moorhead or Nikki McRae-Pinson? And are there any parallels between the two? I don't know. I think that's good. I don't know. That's tough. I honestly think that maybe Moorhead might have fallen out of favor of the fan base quicker because of that early loss to Dan Mullen, the guy he took over for. Jared, Country Pleasing text, says Mississippi State girls are not and have a little chance to be a perennial tournament program. And hey, Jared, it's a long text, and I just think the words are all mixed up, and it makes me sound like a complete goofball. I can't follow the wording and the logic in the text. I'm really sorry. I can't tell what you're saying because there's either an extra word in there or one's left off. Let's see. White Denzel says Kent State is a better RPI opponent than Tennessee Tech. Yeah, that's right. So Kent State right now in the top 50. By year's end, they'll be top 75. That's good. That's right. Home, so you need the RPI to be up there. Looking at it from State's perspective, Nick says, I'd trade hoops never winning another game for a College World Series championship. A lot of folks feel that way. Chris from Macon said, how long until we see Cameron James at short again? Huh? I mean, he is your shortstop, Chris. Leon says, no worries, Matt. This is typical MSU baseball. Always takes the hitting a little while to catch up with the pitching. Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the hitting's going to come around. Really. Bunch of arms. I mean, everybody's got a bunch of arms, but, man, State is loaded with arms. Ole Miss, loaded with them also. We got 2 really good teams here in the state of Mississippi. Jason in Flagstaff said, I don't know what to think about State's women. Everywhere in college basketball, a bunch of traditionally good teams are struggling in the pandemic year, and they don't have brand new coaches or teams, but that can't excuse what looks like the lack of effort. No idea. Yeah, it's a great point you bring up, Jason. You can look at North Carolina, look at Duke, and we're talking about men's basketball. Look at Kentucky. Lots of places where they haven't had coaching changes, they're struggling. I don't know what or why it is that way. I don't know. It could simply be, there's just some places that did a better job getting prepared with all the hoops you had to jump through than others. I don't know. Micah in Batesville texted the show, and he said, I'm here, Hail State. Love the show. Thanks, Micah. Appreciate it. Glad you're tuning in. Good afternoon to Woodrow on the text line as well. Over here on the live stream, we got Saints fan SB09. He's in on Periscope. Says 20 strikeouts by midweek pitchers. Wow. Yeah, they used 4 different guys. They were all strikeout guys. Chad said, Matt, do you think Cohen makes a change in women's basketball leadership? The fall of that program has been drastic. I don't. I mean, I think for some of the reasons we mentioned, not only a one-year coach, a first-year coach, but kind of like Jason said, you've had a lot of things to deal with as a first-year coach. That you got some established coaches out there who struggled. And unless there's something haywire behind the scenes we don't know about, I just don't see you making a change right now. Derek, you're bringing up a question that is kind of like the fly in the ointment of all the fire the coach arguments that, I don't know. Derek on Periscope says, did Vic see something coming that we didn't? Only way to know would be to ask him, get a truthful answer. Jay pointing out 2 of the best coaches they've ever had, Coach Vic and Coach Polk. I think that's right. For, from an all-encompassing perspective. And Jason, you said on Facebook, what if we see an exodus of players? Does that mean that there's a problem? This is the most talented women's team we've had. The last 5 years we've been in the SEC tournament. Are you talking about the NCAA deal? NCAA tournament? Yeah. It's hard to put your finger on it. It really is. But even more than that, it's been hard to watch. After watching those Vic Schaefer teams play, so tough and gritty on defense and move, and rebound and shoot it on offense. And then to watch this team, it's almost been just hard to watch them a lot. They got a long way to go, that's for sure. And we have a long way to go on this show. A new rule proposal. I'm going to lay it in your lap and see what you think about it next. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com. A couple weeks ago, went in, I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's virtual tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good, busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking more great sports for you, Mississippi.
Online transmission is ready, sir.
Live online at thezone1059.com and
keep your radio turned on
to ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
Okay, back with you. Let's go. Let's get going. We're about to wrap up the first hour. That went by quickly, but we got a long way to go with you. Y'all can comment on the live stream. I'm seeing it all there. Periscope, Facebook, YouTube coming to it. Also on the Country Pleasin' text line, Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Hog Jow texted us, and he said, I think there are any one of 6 different teams in the SEC that could make the College World Series. I wouldn't be shocked. The SEC teams are loaded with talent. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You give the ability for them to have some people come back like they did last year from that pandemic season that got canceled. It really means the rich kind of got richer, didn't they? I mean, you know, Arkansas, State, Ole Miss, LSU, South Carolina is really good. Georgia, Florida. Don't forget Vanderbilt. They're the most talented with the most scholarship players. Vanderbilt has more scholarships to play with than anybody else in the country. You know, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so Hog Jow, it's going to be crazy. Now, Chris, you texted, you said, how long until we see Cameron James at short again? And I'm like, well, he is their shortstop. You said they took him out of the game after that last error. James didn't finish the game. I know. Okay, I know he didn't finish the game. But what are we talking about? The ninth inning? The top of the ninth? I mean, because he batted in the bottom of the 8th, didn't he? If I'm looking at the scorecard correctly, I just don't want to sit here on this Thursday after a midweek game, Chris, and make too big a deal out of it. You tell me. I'm open to – there's a bunch of y'all been watching baseball. Y'all are older than me, see, so you've been watching baseball longer than I have. And I wasn't there, okay, last night. So y'all tell me if I'm crazy, but didn't he go out and get a hit, or he got on base, a fielder's choice, according to the scorecard, in the bottom of the 8th inning? You know, then you go out there in the 9th, and unless you're, and Chris, unless you're telling me they made a defensive change in the middle of the inning, then heck, it's just, I mean, the guy goes 1 for 4, he plays shortstop the whole game, and they put somebody else in, you know, maybe who's a better defender at shortstop but can't hit or can't hit as well for defensive reasons in the top of the 9th when you need 3 outs. That's all I took it as. Maybe there is a change there. I don't know. I'm just saying I read the situation a little differently, I guess, than you did. The guy can hit. You know, get him in the lineup somehow. And I just have a hard time believing he's incapable of being an SEC shortstop if, as a first-year player right out of high school, he was an SEC third baseman last year. And I know the season got canceled. but he was an SEC freshman who could flat out hit the ball last year, and they just move him over to short this year. And he's in that same mold as a I'm drawing a blank. The kid who was a shortstop that got drafted in the first round from Texas. Why can't I think of his name? Who could absolutely fly? The 2 first-round draft picks. You had Foscue and you had
Westberg?
Westberg. That's it. Jordan Westberg. And he had the same progression. As a first-year player, young guy, he was a third baseman, and next thing you know, he's a shortstop. Next thing you know, he's a first-round draft pick because he can hit like crazy. Big, tall, strong kid, and never did anything flashy at shortstop, just gobbled everything up and threw everybody out. But on the base pass was a plus runner, 6'3". So I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading enough into it, Chris, but it could be that you're reading too much into it also, given the situation in the game. That's the way it looked to me. I mean, he played the whole game. He reaches base, bottom of the 8th. You come out top of the 9th, you got a 3-run lead. And so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we see a change there. But just remains to be seen. Rebel Tiger Dog, Country Pleasing Text Line says, enjoying this MSU baseball a lot already this year. Long year last year without it. Going to be a great year for the Dogs. Yeah, and you bring up something there, the whole idea that everything that's happening right now for your favorite team, if you're an Ole Miss fan, if you're a State fan, Southern Miss fan, everything that's happening, good and bad, it's all against the backdrop of last year got canceled. We didn't get to see last year, basically. And now we've got it. And now there's a few more people going to be in the stadium this week than last week. And so there's a hope that in the future, maybe next month, there's even more people. And we're going to have an SEC baseball tournament, and all this stuff. And doggone, you're probably going to host some postseason. A great chance to do that if you continue down this path, right? And win some of the right games in the SEC season. Host some postseason baseball, which we love around here. It's if those things happen, Rebel Tiger Dog, I just think it makes them that much sweeter, given that it all got taken away from you last year. Bama fan on the Country Pleasing text is Matt. Vic Schaefer left plenty of talent at MSU women's basketball. What happened? They went from top 10 to not even making the tournament. And he says, and look at Vic in Texas. He's 18-8. First year, tremendous coach. There is no question that Vic Schaefer is a tremendous coach. And he's made an immediate difference out there. Anybody be surprised that if in year 2, Vic Schaefer has him in the top 10? Anybody, would you be surprised that in year 3, Vic Schaefer would have Texas in the top 5 competing for a national championship and a number 1 seed? No. None whatsoever. He's good. He's just good. Gets a whole lot out of them. All right, here's a key question from a Southern Miss fan on the text line. It says, do you know the status of, he calls him Mule, that's his nickname, Brad Cumbus' injury from last night in the game? Again, not being there, I was unable to see what it looked like when he came off the field. He hit the double, right? They had the triple early. He comes back, he hits the double. He's sliding into second base, apparently, and something happens with his leg there. Wasn't it a lower body? For some of y'all who were there, maybe tell me what it looked like. Did he run off the field under his own power? I know listening on the radio, it sounded really quick. The way Jim Ellis called it, it sounded really quick, like the trainer comes out and now they're going to the dugout. So it made it, in the theater of my mind, as I listened to Jim call it, I had a picture of the two of them jogging back to the dugout. And maybe that was wishful thinking. I just know it wasn't a deal like they went out on the field and tended to him and looked at him and it took a while and all that kind of stuff. All right. I don't have an update on the injury, but Josh on the text line says that he walked off a little gingerly. that he was not jogging. Okay, so he was walking off. I don't know. You hate to see that, man. You hate to see that. He was on fire last night. 2 for 3. A couple of extra basers. Big old 6'5" cat that can run. Josh said it didn't look horrible, but see, that's the thing about it. When a guy's walking off, has to leave after hitting a double, it didn't look horrible, but you're going, okay, is it a hamstring tweak? Because if it's a hamstring deal, then, hey, got my hand up, been there. Boy, it'll nag and nag and nag if you're not careful. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just fell wrong, and they're like, get him out of there. I don't know. You just hope for the best. I appreciate the update, Josh. Thank you. Jackson Mailman texted the show, and he said James may have been taken out just to let him know that there are options to light a fire under there. Yeah, that could have been it. Woodrow, let's say, okay, he had a Jackson golf question for my man JB over there. He's got the answers, spending time around all those golfers out at Live Oaks. Let's see here what we have on the live stream. Derek on Periscope says, for Vic to play for back-to-back national championship games and leave to build something else. Yeah, I mean, people still question that, but it's got to be as simple as he's going home to Texas. By the way, their tax situation in Texas is a whole lot better than ours here. Y'all realize that? And you start making $1 million or more a year, that's pretty significant. And not to mention it's where he's from. Dave on Facebook said, and bam, just like that, MSU women's basketball, back to the days of old, first team eliminated. Let's see here. Sven said, I watched yesterday the Texas Longhorns Mississippi State softball game. So the ladies are hitting a lot of balls out of the park. They played Texas. I thought they played Alabama. I thought State played Alabama in basketball. Here's the other thing, too. Dave said on Facebook, and this just seems like this was a long way back in the rearview mirror, but he's reminding us. Dave says, and don't forget, we were ranked 5th when the season started in women's basketball. I don't know if that's an indictment on State or an indictment on the polls or both. Maybe a little bit of both, actually. Yeah, something's got to give. I have hope that she could turn it around. I do. I still have hope. Okay. Hour 2 of the show is coming up next. I hope you stick around for that. About that proposed NFL overtime rule, I think it's really interesting. Let me give you the details when we come back. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding. Whether you cook it over a fire or in the house, cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if you know who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
Take two. Action. You've been diagnosed with a new purpose: to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself. To look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
Time.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. Welcome in. Let's get going. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! with the home team. They are your home team. Hometown Heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. Hey, hit them up at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Just a reminder, if you've ever wanted to get into some of those custom fit jeans and make them custom to you, one size fits one, you. And they make great gifts, too, if you want to put somebody else's measurements in there. You know, you can be measured for those custom jeans in person, but you can do it online now. For the first time ever, you can go to BlueDeltaJeans.com, enter the virtual tailor, click that, answer the questions, and enter the info that it asks for. I did it several weeks ago, and a couple of weeks after my order, they show up on my doorstep. I put them on, and it's just unbelievable how perfectly they fit me. And I recommend it for you. And if you want to do that, BlueDeltaJeans.com, use my name at checkout. You can get a discount on your order, 10% discount on your purchase. Just use code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, no spaces. Matt Wyatt, you'll be good to go. All right, here, you can be a part of the show. Call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, 995-1059, 601 number, 995-1059. You can also text me on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, 601-885-ESPN. Text me, call me, comment on the live stream, any of that, fine with me. Just like our man Jay in Baltimore on the Davini phone. Jay, thanks for calling, man. What's up?
Hey, Matt, comment and a question. You look, in middle infield defense for me is the least of my concerns. I really do believe Scotty DeBrule is going to end up being one of the better defenders in the SEC. And you're absolutely right. Cameron James is on the exact trajectory as Jordan Westberg. He booted the ball around a little bit early, but showed flashes just of brilliance as a defender. So I think we're going to be fine there. So my question today is one that I've asked you a couple of times actually in the past. I'll bring it up again. And we heard yesterday, it's concerning small ball. And we heard yesterday in an interview with Lamonis, he's still not a big fan of bunting the ball. He actually tried it last night, unsuccessful in getting the run. I think it was a leadoff double that he wasn't able to get a run and tried to bunt it. Didn't work. But of all years, I mean, let's just say we're not as strong offensively this year. You're going to face a lot. You're heavy left-handed hitting. You're going to face a lot of lefties, challenging situations. You got a pitching staff that, as we've now seen, is locked down. I think onesies and twosies run games are going to be huge this year. Is this just not the year to maybe practice a little bit more, implement a little small ball?
You know, it is such a great question, Jay. And when that happened last night, I was sitting there going, I wonder if Lamonis did that just to show everybody it doesn't work. You know, was it who? And I'm getting fuzzy. Was it Cumbest's leadoff double that he came back and tried to bunt him over?
I think it was. I think it was. I think he led off, and then we got somebody on first, and I think he just. Yeah, I think you're right. But whatever he was thinking, he probably walked away saying, "That's why I don't play small ball." And I get it, but I don't know. We got to find a way to manufacture some runs, though.
Well, and you know, I can't disagree with you, Jay. There, on any team, there's going to come a time here or there where it's called for. Okay, and I almost have to give you that answer because last September, whenever it was, I'm the guy who got on this radio show after a Braves game, a loss. Actually, you know what? It might have even been a game they came back. No, I think it was a game they lost, where Snitker refused in a key situation. I think it was an extra inning situation. Refused to have somebody go up there and bunt this guy over to second. It was either Ozzie or Acuna or somebody on first base who's a blazing runner. And I'm just thinking, bunt the guy over. And there was no excuse not to. And then he just won't do it because he's one of these guys who just says, hey, analytics tell me this. I am not bunting the guy over. And I ranted and raved about how stupid it was not to go up there and bunt him over here on the show. So I would almost be hypocritical if I didn't agree with you in some shape, form, or fashion. And with this team, there will be times where it's called for all the left-handed hitters. I also think this, Jay, there's an if in there for me also. it's kind of like we were talking about with Rowdy. We've seen it so much in his career till now. He's swinging and missing a little bit. He ain't really squaring it up that much. Average sitting here early in the year, sub 200, but nobody's worried because Rowdy's going to be Rowdy at some point before it's over. We just need him doing what he's done in the past, and that's get hot in the postseason or get hot in the SEC season halfway through. The same thing for Hatcher. Hatcher can be a power hitter for you, but if you've got some lefty or two in your lineup, well, I guess that's my if, Jay, is if you've got a lefty in your lineup and they are struggling in late April and it's a key SEC series and it's here, maybe you make that out-of-the-box decision to, hey, I'm going to let him lay one down here because he's struggling. Hey, Jay, hang on for me hang on for me real quick. I got to go take care of something, and I'll be right back. Here's Lemonis after the ball game last night.
Well, we joked in the dugout that I was going to pinch hit for him because he had struck out the last 3 at bats, and which was just a joke because there was no way we'd ever pinch hit for him. But what a great AB. Laid off some tough breaking balls. That guy's mid-90s and worked the count to his favor and then banged the ball. I just proud of him the way he's still mentally engaged in the game after he'd had some really tough at bats earlier.
Tanner's obviously a guy that's been a part of some really big moments since he's been at State. I mean, just as a guy, an older guy, I mean, how crucial is he to have a guy like that in moments like that?
Well, he never is phased. I mean, it's just never too big a moment, never just it's always the same guy when he walks to the plate. So he just goes up there and tries to have a great at bat. And to me, he may be the best pure hitter in the country. I mean, this guy just hits everybody year in and year out, and he hits great pitching, and that's what he did today.
Talking about Tanner and the guys coming through late both tonight and last night, are these the kind of games that even here at the front end of the season can pay off down at the crunch time of the season?
I think so. I mean, I just said it to our group here. I mean, man, whoever's doing the scheduling, he's killing us because it's been a really hard first 7 games and really tough pitching matchups. I mean, you got to tip your hat to their pitcher today. He was really good, and he's been good, and he pitched great today. And I think, our philosophy of putting it out there and trying to play tough early, it'll help us in the long run. I told the kids 48 hours.
I was going to jump in here real quick. Hey, JB, do we still have Jay on?
Yeah, he should be there.
Okay.
Well, I'm here.
Jay, sorry about that. I think I hit the wrong button. That was actually Lemonis after the Tulane win. I wanted you to hear what he said at the beginning of this interview with Jim Ellis on the radio last night. Let me hit the correct button, and you can hear the first question and response here from Coach Lemonis after last night's game. I'll get it right this time.
Coach, congratulations. Always good to win against an in-state rival, and certainly nice to win here at this Trustmark Park, and a place that we play a neutral site game or 2 every year.
Yeah, what a good night for our pitching staff. I was really impressed, and it's probably our first true great start that we've had this year, and then Preston Johnson got out there, Cam Toller and Stone Simmons, man, I thought they attacked the zone with good stuff, and to beat a quality opponent, like you said earlier, it's an in-state rival, and it's a regional type of ball club. And we talked before the game about building our resume, and our goal is to host at the end of the year. So winning games on the road against the Southern Miss is huge when you look back at the end of the year.
Wanted to play that. And we'll get some more of it coming up later, Jay. But you pointed out the neutral site thing, but. You had a guy last night to throw for you that you hadn't seen yet. And while I had you, I just wanted to ask you about this. So with Preston Johnson pitching last night, 21 pitchers have seen the mound this year for State in these first 8 games. In your lifetime following Mississippi State baseball, you ever seen anything quite like that?
No, I haven't, and I'll tell you, it's a problem. But it's a good problem to have. But to keep those guys happy, to keep those arms loose, it's going to be a real juggling act, no doubt about it.
Well,
and I'll close with this about back to the bunting, because I got to give Lemonis the reason why he said it is, and we all take it for granted. It's just not as easy as we think it is. Some guys are just better at bunting than others. and it's something they got to really practice on. And I just don't think that he wants to invest that time into bunting, and when they don't play small ball that much. So.
Well, and you know,
thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks, Jay. Really do appreciate you being patient during that. Had someone at the door and the dog going crazy in the middle of our conversation, but and we'll come back to some more of that Lemonis interview. He talked about some of the other aspects of that game. But Jay, you know, the small ball, or being able to do it, it's a tricky thing. I mean, it really is. Because, well, what's a good analogy here? It's sort of you either are a small ball team or you aren't sort of deal. Now, I know that in football, if we were to look at offense in football, very few teams are strictly run or pass. There's always a balance, a mix. You can do a little bit of both depending on what the situation calls for. I know football is a different game. But you know, it's like in baseball, we either have guys who can bunt or we don't. You know, that's either going to be our philosophy or it's not. We're going to spend more time hitting working on the small ball stuff, or we're not. You know, all those kinds of stuff. I was just going to say, too, that I wonder when you're recruiting a lineup full of guys that, you know, can come and be hitters in the SEC, are guys coming in there with a lot of experience and capability to bunt the ball? You know what I'm saying? Are you recruiting guys out of high school who are really adept at laying down a good sacrifice bunt when they have to? You know, if you get one of those, someone who did it, who was really good at it, maybe it changes your thinking. But just like some of the left-handed hitters we were talking about, if you were to just give me an example of, you know, a switch hitter like Rowdy Jordan at the top when he's in the left-handed batter's box. Well, Rowdy, he ain't up there to bunt. Never has been. Josh Hatcher, and I know he's in your 3, 4, whatever he's going to be in your lineup. He's been, I guess he was in the 4 spot here recently. He ain't done a lot of bunting in his life for good reason. But Luke Hatcher, some of those guys. So it may be more about personnel and how prepared those guys, you know, are throughout the course of their baseball careers to do it, as much as, well, as a coach, I really don't like doing it. You know, some of that goes into it also. But it's a great point. If the pitching staff keeps this up, you can go win a bunch of low-scoring games where moving that one guy over to second and getting that little dribbler through one side and scoring him could be huge. Really, I think it's a really good point. Appreciate your phone call, and thanks for being patient. All right, let's see here. Country Please and text line 885-ESPN. 885-ESPN. Here's a long one, but let's get into it, see what he's got for me. It's long. Let's see what he's got. Anthony from Tupelo says, this is a long message, so if you just want to scan it, it's fine with me. I know y'all were comparing the effort level being the same as to when Rick Ray got out on the men's team, but I've seen people say that Nikki McRae-Penson can't coach like Rick Ray could, couldn't. This complete fall off is baffling to me, Anthony says. Rick Ray was an assistant at a mid-level ACC school. Nikki McRae-Penson was a Group of 5 coach of the year. Took a low conference ranked team, turned them into a tournament team, and won their conference. She also was an assistant under Dawn Staley. Which, you're right, he says this, she is tied for 1A or 1B for the best coach in the girls' game right now. Plus, she played at Tennessee under Pat Summitt. She knows what it takes to win in the SEC. Rick Ray didn't have a clue about being a head coach. Anthony says, I just can't figure out what the problem is. He says, I still think she can get it done, but there are for sure 2 non-senior players that need to be shown the door at the end of the season. They may have already found the door. I don't know that. I just think that there's going to be turnover. Has to be. After a year like this, I would agree with you for that. Bush League this is a new one. I don't know that Bush League's ever texted me before, but here it is. He texts the show and says, I can't wait to get out and watch some MSU baseball like a proper Neanderthal. Yeah, we're Neanderthal thinking. Mm-hmm. That boy says, beyond bunting, a lot of younger players only swing for power. Instead of well-placed singles to advance runners, it's like the three-point shot in basketball. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know about that. I don't know about swinging for power. I think that's a church league softball thing and a little league thing. I think the time you get to the college level, and the high school level, really highly competitive high school stuff. But you certainly get to the college level, that just doesn't exist. I mean, there are guys who will take a big cut if they see it really well. You say take a big cut, but nothing about their mechanics of their swing and all that kind of stuff is changing. And I really think that it's a big-time misnomer to think that a guy intentionally is trying to hit singles and other times he's intentionally trying to hit home runs. Everybody at that college level is trying to hit the ball as hard as he can hit it every time. When you say as hard as you can hit it, that has nothing to do with, quote-unquote, swinging for the fence. It has everything to do with no wasted motion in that swing. You're driving that the handle of that bat right at the baseball and, kind of creating that A to C deal. There's no dip and driving the fat part of that bat right in that baseball. Staying inside the ball when it's away on the outside part of the plate. Hit it as hard as you can, a line drive. It's a line drive game. Everything based off of that. So, the idea that people swing for the fences when they should be trying to hit a single, that's just not it. Walton says there are some, quote-unquote, the sky is falling folks out there. Instead of sitting on the couch and throwing stones, try to encourage the athletes, show your support, not your disapproval. What do you think about that? Interesting conversation here on the live stream. Steve, who's on Facebook watching the show, said, how bad is Texas A&M's basketball team when you lose a team that shoots 25% of their free throws and turns them all over 17 times to your 4? Is this a reflection on our talent level or our coaching ability? Well, Steve, you're talking about State's men who beat Texas A&M last night. They trailed at halftime, came back, beat them. And it's the third win in 4 games for Ben Howland and State. And this was on the road at Texas A&M. Well, one thing, Steve, Texas A&M has not played a basketball game in like a month? 30 days, 33 days, something like that. That was their first game in 30 days because of COVID stuff. So, surely there's some effect of that in there and all this kind of stuff. But State's playing better basketball. They just are in some ways. And I just feel like, look, this year at times, I said the same thing. There was a stretch in the year where it was kind of hard to watch the men's team because they looked confused a lot, and therefore they didn't play hard, and other teams seemed to be playing a lot harder and faster and tougher and the rebound better. But here lately, they've really started to turn it on, kind of like a lot of Ben Howland teams have done. Later in the year, they play better, and that's a good sign. I just feel like State's team is about a year away on the men's side. The two Smiths, the guard and the post player are good, are going to be very, very good for you. And that's just jumping right past and looking right past, I guess guys who are second-year players, technically, according to their eligibility, in Molinar and DJ Stewart. I just think that they're a year away. I really do. I think they're going to be okay. This is not the year, but I think they are a year away. And they've won 3 out of the last 4, and they're got a little confidence maybe as they get closer to the tournament and going to get to take a shot at Kentucky here at the end of the season. But A&M, you go, well, how bad is A&M? A&M's not very good, but they've not been able to play a game for a full month. So, times are still kind of weird for sure. Jason, in talking about the women's team here on the live stream, too, he's kind of in on that conversation. He says we have 2 McDonald's All-Americans on this team. The team was made of great players that studied the game well, played with great determination and heart. Remember the year before that we played UConn and got run out of the arena. I mean, it can be a very up and down. I just don't see a scenario where there's any kind of coaching change with Nikki McRae-Penson after this 1 year. And I know it's bad, and I know players are going to transfer. It seems inevitable that some will transfer. It just does not look like a situation to me where they're going to run out here and make a change based on this year. Doesn't look like that way to me, honestly. Okay, as promised. It's not that I just want to talk about the NFL. It's that a story about the NFL and their rules popped up in front of me. And I thought to myself, why didn't I think of this? I'm going to lay it in your lap when we come back and see what you think. Give me your reaction. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Better buy Birdseye. Better buy Birdseye.
Yes, always look for this Birdseye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Birdseye buy this week is Birdseye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Birdseye. Better buy Birdseye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats. The tasty cereal grain everyone should have at breakfast. Crisp and golden as only a toasted oat cereal can be. And nourishing? Why, a Cheerios breakfast gives you the power protein that grown-ups need to help stay in trim and youngsters need to grow on. Toasted oat goodness, toasted oat flavor, a delicious power breakfast. That's Cheerios.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, smooth, freeze, Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, smooth, freeze, Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Wyatt Show.
Let's go. Rolling along with you. We were talking about golf just a minute ago, or I mentioned it, JB. I would imagine with this weather we had yesterday and today, things are buzzing around over there at the on the driving range and all that kind of stuff. You got the driving range open?
Well, we don't have a driving range. We've got hitting bays. We get into a net. We got 4 or 5 little hitting bays, and just not a whole lot of room for where the driving range used to be in the current way they're building a new wedding and event venue.
I guess.
And but today's the first day that we've been open this week because of all the weather. So it's been it was pretty crowded out there earlier today. Olivier was out there playing with his son.
Was he really?
Yep, sure was.
That dadgum Olivier, man.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Well, good for him. Yeah, just so happy to see the sun.
Oh, it's beautiful day.
I mean, temperatures in the 70s. Bring it on.
Less than 10 days away from springing forward.
Yeah, daylight savings, huh?
Yeah.
Spring
Sunday
forward.
week.
It won't be long
It's
now.
a good thing.
We'll lose a little daylight in the early morning.
Yeah.
But we'll get a little more in the later in the evening, which hallelujah, man. Bring that on.
The days are getting longer and the nights are getting shorter.
I'll be looking forward to that. All right, y'all text, y'all call. I brought that up because Denzel, where's Denzel's tweet here? Or text, I should say. Yeah, here you go. Denzel, a little bit ago on the Country Pleasing text line said, Matt, I heard you making fun of me the other day about playing the Live Oaks course on PGA 2K21, 2021. That's a video game. He says, me playing that course on the game is helping me get a feel of the course when I go play it in real life. I haven't played the course in a while, so it helps me to get a feel for the course again. Yeah, okay, course management. I understand you're playing it. That's the term, right? Like which side of the fairway you want to be on. You kind of setting up certain shots that allow you to get in a little better to a certain part of the green, and you want to approach from this side. You want to putt from there, in front of the hole, behind the hole, and below and above, and all this stuff. I get it, Denzel. I get it. And I totally shouldn't have gotten on your case. I should give you a complete pass, given the weather that we've had recently. It's like if I had a bass fishing video game, I'd play it. I'm sure they make them, but I'd play it if I had it. Back when, we had, 8 straight days of there's ice all over everything. Yeah, I'd play a bass fishing video game. But ask me if I'd play it this afternoon. Nope. I will be going this afternoon. All right. I have teased this long enough. I'm putting the story out there, and then I'm coming to your, reaction to it. I just say it like I saw it, and I go, I need to mention this. This is pretty cool. You and I both have always had like a long-standing problem with the current NFL overtime rules. The idea that we have a sport that we're also invested in and parity. I mean, it's one of the things that makes it so great. It's what makes the NFL what it is, the fact that all 32 teams have a chance. I mean, the Browns just won double-digit games. There's a great example for you. Chiefs have been to back-to-back Super Bowls. Well, take me back about 10 years ago, tell a Chiefs fan that in your time machine and watch them laugh at you. It's one of the things, the parity in the NFL is fantastic with the cap and the draft. It's what makes it what it is. And they have the worst overtime in all of sports, at least in terms of the rule. We're going to flip a coin and give the ball to one team based on this coin flip, and there is a chance that the other team never touches the football in overtime. So it's all fouled up. Well, get this. What do you think? The overtime rules, poised for a potential shakeup. We know that. They're talking about it. It's a fact. They're talking about it. But what it even might be like more interesting is this proposal by the Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens will be proposing a pair of overtime procedures premised on the concept of, here's the name of it, spot and choose. Spot and choose. And you go, wait a minute, hold on, wait, time out. What does that even mean, spot and choose? Well, listen to this. It works like this. Here it is. One team picks the spot of the ball to start overtime, and the other team chooses whether to play offense or defense.
Is it going to go back to sudden death overtime, or does each team have a chance to have the ball if the other one?
Well, I
does not
don't
score a
know,
touchdown?
Mr. JB. All I've got here in front of me is an article, and I'm going to read you what it says. I don't know what. See, this is one team's proposal, okay, but it's called spot and choose. But apparently, it's got a little steam behind it. Okay, but even just so whether or not both teams get a shot. Let me give you an example. It's got an example here for you. So let me just read what it says. If the one team picks, for example, the offense's own 20-yard line, the opponent would then choose whether to play offense from their own 20 or to play defense, whether the other team having the ball on its with the other team having the ball on its own 20-yard line. Okay, so they're saying it would minimize the impact of the coin toss. Under this proposal, the coin toss would be used only to give the team that wins the toss the right to pick the spot of the ball, along with the end zone that they would be defending. So, let's see. Under one of the two proposals made by the Ravens, overtime. Okay, here's your answer, JB. You had the right question. It just took me 2 paragraphs to get to it. Under one of the two proposals, under one of the two made by the Ravens, overtime would proceed in sudden death fashion, with the first score by either team ending the game in up to 10 minutes of extra time.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm for that, except I want to go for a full quarter. If they go through a full quarter and neither one scores, then it's a tie.
Okay, so you want a full quarter, not 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, but I also want sudden death.
Yeah, and they're
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. You're just saying, like, if nobody scores, play a full quarter of football.
Right.
Well, and this one's saying it would be sudden death, like you say, but instead of 15 minutes, it'd be 10.
Yeah.
Okay, is what they're saying. And then if it ends without a score, the game would just end in a tie. Okay, but under the other proposal, and this is one that they're saying is supported by Bill Belichick, for instance, of the Patriots. Under the other proposal, the game would continue if after 10 minutes nobody scored, the game would continue for another 7 minutes and 30 seconds without a sudden death component. And then whoever is leading after the extra time has ended would be the winner.
You can play that Pete clip now.
Saying that don't make no sense. This again, if the game remains tied after the extra session, the game's outcome would be a tie. So
that's 17 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
Why? Just go with a full quarter and call it a tie at the end of the,
Well, and see, the thing to me is, okay, 7.5 minutes. That's exactly
That's
half of a quarter.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if you were proposing that the extra or the double overtime would be 7.5 minutes, why wouldn't the first overtime be a full quarter?
Or why wouldn't the second overtime be 5 minutes?
If you kept the first one at 10. You think people listening to this are going, shoot me now, shoot me?
No,
now.
because I have long been a proponent of going back to sudden death.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already played for 60 minutes and you're tied, and whoever wins the coin toss, well, I mean, it's just like betting blackjack, I suppose.
Yeah. This says the spot and choose approach would replace chance with strategy. One team picks where the first drive in overtime begins, and the other team picks whether it's going to take the ball or give the ball to the other team. It says it's a fascinating wrinkle that would truly revolutionize overtime and, more importantly, make it fair to both teams. So let's just go through a little exercise right here, JB, with 1 minute to go. You and I are the captains for opposing teams.
All right.
Our rules for overtime are spot and choose. We flip the coin. You win the coin toss.
Okay.
You now choose where the ball is going to be spotted, knowing that I get to choose offense or defense. All right. So choose the spot of the ball. Where are you going to put it?
I'm going to put it at the 50-yard line.
Right at midfield for sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm playing offense.
Okay.
And it's sudden death. And if I kick a field goal, game over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, what if I put it on my own 1-yard line? What are you going to play, defense or offense?
Offense.
What if I put it on your 1-yard line? What are you going to play?
If you put it on my 1-yard line, I'm playing offense. Okay?
Put it in the middle of the field and let my defense do its job.
Yeah. See, if you put the ball on my 40,
you're going to play offense.
I would think I'd play offense.
Yeah. But if I put it on your 20, what are you going to play?
See, I can't figure out a scenario where I wouldn't play offense.
Because you want to win the game.
If it's sudden death, yeah. I got to read these rules again. It's a good time for a commercial break. Y'all stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech-Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech-Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats.
Now to get back to our little talk.
Right here on the Matt Wyatt Show.
Hey, all right. I still didn't figure it out. I still didn't figure it out. Okay, spot and choose. This new NFL overtime proposal, the Ravens are proposing it. It's called spot and choose. It's an overtime rules change proposal. One team picks the spot of the ball to start overtime, and the other team chooses whether to play offense or defense. Hey, JB, I just thought of something.
What's that, pal?
The only thing that makes any sense is if this whole thing of the current sudden death rules that you have in the NFL overtime, touchdown versus field goal, if that still applies, then this would make sense to me. Okay, here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
The current overtime is what? You get, if you win the coin toss and you get the ball first, a touchdown ends the game without the other team ever even getting to play offense.
Right.
I win the coin toss against you in overtime. I get the ball, you're on defense. If I go score a touchdown, it's game over. There's your sudden death part of it. The deal is, though, if I get the ball and don't score, then your next score, field goal or touchdown, ends the game. All you need is a field goal. It's like they've said, okay, if you take the ball, this is the current rule. If you take the ball and play offense, you get to end the game with a touchdown. But if you don't, the other team can end the game with a field goal. See what I'm saying? It's like that's the way they have governed the overtime to this point. Well, if that still stays in place for this first 10-minute overtime period they've proposed, now consider our decisions. Okay, now let's do the exercise again. You want to play? Are you on the phone? He's on the phone. Calls coming in right and left. Okay, if that stays in place, now let's do the decision. Spot and choose. Coin toss. One team wins the coin. Let's just make it real, okay? This is Saints versus Falcons. Okay? Saints versus Falcons. Matt Ryan, the quarterback for the Falcons, is at midfield. Russell Wilson, the quarterback of the Saints, is at midfield. See what I did there? And they flip the coin. And the Falcons win the toss. Therefore, they get to decide where the ball will be spotted. If they say, okay, we want the ball to be spotted on our own 35-yard line. Our own 35-yard line. You're like, wait a minute, the Falcons just chose for the ball to be spotted on their own 35-yard line. Why would they do that? Well, here's why. Because by putting it on the 35, now the Saints have to choose. Do they want to play offense right there or defense? They could take the easy route and choose defense. And if they do, then the Falcons are, 65 yards away?
from ending the game with a touchdown. But if the Saints choose, if they choose defense, but if they choose offense, they got the ball on the plus 35. However, kicking a field goal will not end the game, even though they're kind of already in field goal range. It'd almost be like the Falcons baiting the Saints into, let's take over it in field goal range. Well, maybe you kick a field goal, you go up by 3 in a tie game, but that does not equal sudden death under the current rules. It would only give the ball, back to the Falcons. I don't know. I was just looking at it trying to figure out a scenario where you would take it on defense. I don't know what that scenario is. I just don't know. Feel free to text me, call me. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN. It's a 601 number, 885-ESPN. Or call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059. 601-995-1059. Delta Dog said, flip the coin and the winner picks offense or defense, place the ball to 50 and play ball. That sure seems a whole lot simpler, doesn't it? Winner can choose offense, defense. You go, well, why would you choose defense if the ball's at 50? Well, because then if you get a stop on defense, now all you need is a field goal to end the game. Touchdown out of the equation. Delta Dog, I think you're nailing it. I think you simplified it. But, spot and choose, you're probably looking at anywhere from the 45 to midfield of either, from midfield to the 45 on either side is where most everybody's going to put the ball if you did spot and choose. That's what I think. And then you're right. Then the choice is, do you want to get on offense first where a touchdown will end the game, or do you want to get on defense first where one defensive stop gets you the ball and now you can win it with a field goal? Does that make sense? Jason in Flagstaff says, I like sudden death too. I despise how college football does it. If defense and special teams are equal parts of the game, then why make it irrelevant by putting folks immediately in field goal range? Put the ball on the 20 opposite the goal and play ball. Yeah, make defense a part of it also. The thing about it is, I get that, Jason. I'm like you. I mean, I value the defensive side of the ball just like everything else, but we're talking about overtime, not the regular part of the game where overtime is all about getting the game over with. Now the stakes have upped a little bit. That's all. And then Dat Boy says, how about if you get the ball first and you score a touchdown, you have to go for 2. If you don't get the 2, the other team gets the ball, and the first team to score a touchdown and convert 2 wins. Yeah, put an emphasis on the 2-point conversions. I don't know. I'm kind of like, overtime, everything's out the window. Now it's all about ending the game, getting the game over with. Problem is, you keep on with the current NFL overtime rules, you keep on getting ties. They're trying their best to avoid ties, but maybe there's just no way to avoid them. Maybe that's all you can say about it. We talked golf just a little bit earlier, and JB told us that he saw Louvier out at Live Oaks. Here's what Louvier said. My son and I played 18 at Live Oaks this morning, had a great time. And Louvier is bragging on himself. He says, and I, Louvier, took 15 out of 18 holes. Man, Louvier, don't break your arm patting yourself on the back, man. He said, you have no idea how bad I would have it if that boy had the bragging rights.
Yeah, he's already got bragging rights because he's got way more hair than Louvier does.
Hair doesn't mean anything.
Well, no, it's not. But it's a great accoutrement to have if you have some.
Yeah, it's true. That's what I tell like young guys. Hey, if you can grow it, grow it. While you can grow it. Man, I've been noticing. I think you and I talked about this, how the mullets are coming back in style now.
Oh, especially on baseball teams.
That's what I was going to say. Have you noticed all the hair that's flowing out from under baseball caps these days?
As if baseball players need something else to make them more distinct.
I know. I mean, that Tulane team took it to another level, man. They had 2 or 3 guys out there that flowing locks of hair
Business in the front, party in the back.
I tell you what, man, this is the worst looking haircut anybody ever
came
came up
coming
with.
back with the shorts, man. The whole thing. It's. I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy theory again.
It is the worst looking haircut anybody's ever dreamed up. That's a mullet. And I'm just telling you right now, all of these high school kids and stuff that are doing, hey, mullet's cool, let's do a mullet. Look at him, he's got a mullet. This guy, he's brave because he went and got a mullet. Well, number one, courage has nothing to do with it, real courage. Number two, there will come a day you'll look back at your pictures and regret it. Okay, trust me, you will. Okay. You're not going to stick with a mullet the rest of your life. Ain't happening. But it's the 80s all over again. I'm telling you, 20 years ago, bell bottoms came back in style. Remember that from the 70s? And now here we are, we're getting 80s stuff.
Well, yeah, and those skinny jeans.
Oh, yeah, the skinny ones. What is that? I don't know where that's from.
I don't know. This fat boy ain't getting in those skinny jeans.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess some people can pull it off. I saw Jesse Palmer one time.
We'd rather them leave them on.
I saw Jesse Palmer one time at Media Days. He had on skinny jeans, tied around his ankles and stuff. I'm like, but he's Jesse Palmer. I'm sure it's fine. He can pull them off. I can't pull them off. I go regular. It's one of the good things about getting your jeans custom made at BlueDeltaJeans.com. You go to the virtual tailor. You can pick whichever kind you want. You go boot cut. You go regular. You want, what do they call
where
it?
the break in the bend is.
You go athletic. Yeah, how far down on your ankles you want them to go. Like every little thing, you just choose it specifically for what you want. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use my name, Matt Wyatt, as a code to get 10% off your purchase. All lowercase, no spaces, Matt Wyatt, to get you save a little money, keep it in your pocket. That's it. If you leave us, have a good night. If not, stick around for hour 3. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau studio.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their No Bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max. Got it at C Spire. Went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
Someone whom I believe will one day regret that comment when they realize that what we say on social media and the web stays there. So let's all think before we post. Pretty good lesson all the way around. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
This is WRKS Pickens Jackson. Live
in the studio.
Live and local. This is the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at the Zone 1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, here we go. Hour number 3 of the show underway. Off and running with you on this Thursday. Kind of in between today in terms of baseball. I know that around here, it just seems like everybody's got baseball on the brain as that's what we're kind of used to this time of year. I'm that way, got baseball on the brain, especially once the games get going, our teams are good, that helps. But then also the weather, right? We've had our fair share of cold weather, icy weather, wet weather. When you start getting weeks like this, we got several days in a row of sunshine and temps in the 60s and 70s. So we got baseball on the brain, but we're sort of in between because it's Thursday. No games this week on Thursday. Had one last night. Had two of them last night, in fact. So State beat Southern Miss 4-1. Ole Miss walloped Jackson State 12-1. And that's after Ole Miss just absolutely dominated Memphis on Tuesday night. Beat them like, what was it, 15-1 or 16-2 or whatever the heck that game was. So Ole Miss scored somewhere in the neighborhood of, what was it, 30 runs? Getting close to scoring 30 runs in two games. They might have scored 30 runs. I didn't do the math. But, yeah, so a couple of losses over the weekend to UCF, and boy, did Ole Miss ever respond the way they were supposed to. So they've got Belmont coming in there this weekend. So we're in between. You had games Tuesday, yesterday, here on Thursday, no game, and then looking ahead to the weekend, which begins tomorrow. Big series, and we'll be able to preview them and all that. As we get started here in what has kind of become sort of the casserole hour of the show, you never really know what's in there, but it could be anything, and it could be good. Just put it in there and see what happens. You can be a part of the show in this hour, just like always. Text me, call me, say hello on the live stream. If you're on the live stream, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, just type it in. Click send, and we'll see it here all in one place and make you a part of the show that way. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN. Or call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059. Quick reminder, I mentioned warmer temperatures, sunshine, outdoors. You're going to have to do a little yard work. You may really enjoy it, like me. And if you do, you need to know about this. Davini is having their Turf Week starting this Saturday. It means all new stuff, new line of spring stuff, and all kinds of discounts to kind of get you started and get you sent off into your spring to-do list the right way and maybe save you a little money also. Okay, so it starts this Saturday, March 6th at Davini, Highway 51 in Madison, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson. Go down there on Spring Ridge Road and tell Bruce, hey, Matt sent me down here. Or, go up there to Davini on Highway 51 in Madison, walk up behind Jonathan when he's not paying attention and go, boo! And when he says, why'd you do that? Say, Matt told me to do it. Okay? I'm serious. Scare him out of his wits. Anyway, Davini having their Turf Week starting Saturday. 20% off all Red Max commercial products. 20% off. 15% off select Wright standing mowers. 10% off all their handheld parts and accessories. They got packages that'll start you out on payments monthly as little as $65 a month on some of the Kubota Zero turns. Now listen. I read that earlier and I thought to myself, I said, Self, says I, you need to have a talk with the homecoming queen, because a zero turn mower at $65 a month, that's nothing. On all the brands, they've got low payments, and some of them 0% APR. Most of it, in fact. So anyway, check them out there at Davini. What do we have here? JB, what is this you sent me? Ole Miss shoots literally for the state's first Division I team national championship.
Yeah, we talked about that a week or so ago.
It came up, didn't it?
Yeah, sure did.
The
they
rifle.
Were ranked number one then, and now it looks like they are quickly closing in on a possible national championship.
Okay, so what we're talking about here is the rifle team at Ole Miss. It came up because when when Anna Beth was here in the studio, we said something about having guns and her learning to shoot them. And we're like, yeah, well, Ole Miss, they got a good rifle team. All right, here it is. This, according to Rick Cleveland, no Mississippi team has ever won a D1 team championship. All right, Delta State has won an NCAA Division II championship and something called the AIAW national title.
Back in the day when they had Debbie Brock, Lucia Harris.
What does that stand for, though, I wonder?
That was the Association Independent Women's Basketball, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a precursor to back in the days when Immaculata And Louisiana Tech and Delta State had all these unbelievable women's teams.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
when they won a national championship.
He said in this article, Ole Miss, State, and Southern Miss athletes have won individual titles, but there have been no team championships at the highest level in the NCAA. And that could change next week in Columbus, Ohio. The rifle team at Ole Miss will go into next weekend's NCAA Rifle Championships as the number 2 ranked team nationally and with a legitimate chance to win the whole thing. The Ole Miss team is made up entirely of women, and the head coach is a woman. And oh, by the way, there's no men on the team. They compete against men. This is incredible. NCAA rifle is a co-ed sport. Get it? That means women compete with and against men. There's no dividing them up. They're all playing the same sport. In the case of the Ole Miss Rebels, they more than hold their own. I'm not going to read the whole article to you. You need to go see it. But it's really neat. I had no idea. I knew they had a good team. I'd caught wind of that. I did not know they were going for a national championship next week. But I also did not know that they weren't divided into men's and women's teams. They're all on the same team. And frankly, at Ole Miss, they don't have any men. Very cool story. Go check it out. Rick wrote all about it at MississippiToday.org. Thanks for sending that over.
So I'm looking at this team.
Yeah.
Check this out. Stacy, Minnesota. Silverton, Oregon. Orange, Connecticut. Salem, Oregon. Sigel, Illinois. Kukumaram, Hungary.
Easy for you to say.
Maple Grove, Minnesota. Frederick, Maryland. Coleman, Texas. Newark, Delaware. And
my goodness,
Constantia, New York.
So are they recruiting these?
There ain't a single Mississippi girl on there.
Not
That's
one.
kind of weird.
So, but are they recruiting them is what I want to know. I bet they are. I bet they're recruiting them and giving out scholarships. See, I almost bet you that. Well, but how could it? How could a co-ed team satisfy Title IX? I mean, I guess it would if they're giving out scholarships to women.
You'd have to have more women on the team, I think, than men for the Title IX. But the coach is an 8-time NCAA championship coach.
Wow.
Who has taken the Ole Miss Rifle program over 4 seasons ago. And she has a decorated coaching career at West Virginia.
How about that? All right, Bama fan just texted and said, hey, I just tuned in. What are y'all talking about? Bama fan, you can see it. It's at MississippiToday.org. Rick Cleveland wrote a story about the Ole Miss rifle team that's going for a national championship next week. And JB sent me the link, and we got to looking in there, Bama fan. We just figured out several things that stand out. One is that it's a co-ed sport, okay? The sport of NCAA rifle. They're shooting. It's accuracy, marksmanship, right? And it's a co-ed sport, meaning there's no women's team and no men's team. It's all just a team. They're men and women on the same team competing against each other. And Ole Miss doesn't have any men. It's all women.
And the only man on the team is an assistant coach.
Yeah. And they got a chance.
9-time All-American.
And that if they do it, if the Ole Miss women's, strike that, reverse it. No, don't reverse it. If the Ole Miss rifle team of all women wins the NCAA National Championship next week, NCAA Division I National Championship, it will be the first NCAA Division I team national championship in the history of this state. Rick points out in his article that State, Ole Miss, and Southern Miss all have different individuals who've won a national championship in their respective sports, whatever that might be. But State, nor Ole Miss or Southern Miss have a team national title in D1 under the NCAA umbrella. This could be the first one if they go win it next week. And they have a legit shot to go win it. I didn't mean to just like divert it, JB, and jump all over the scholarship conversation, but I just found it interesting because I've had that on my brain recently, looking into the baseball stuff. And, which scholarship limits and opportunities and stuff in sports in the NCAA are all of it is related to Title IX, making opportunities for women. Because the fact is, I mean, until Title IX went into effect, women's sports were discriminated against in the NCAA. Most schools didn't want to fool with them unless you made them, and finally they made them fool with it to create those opportunities. But I brought it up because, okay, so you just pointed out the team is made up. They don't have a single Mississippian on the team.
And I'm looking at news sources from 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Marcia Beasley is the head coach, and she was named Coach of the Year.
Mm.
And 8 Rebels earned All-American honors on this year's team.
That's great. Here's, okay, I'm back to the scholarship thing, JB. They have to be giving these girls scholarships. I guarantee you they are.
Oh, yeah.
And because that's why they're coming in from out of state. They've gone and recruited the best.
And out of the country.
And out of the country. Yeah, I mean, internationally. Okay. Can I tell you a little anecdotal scholarship story real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, I had this story told to me recently, but then today I was reading an article and found the information. So I don't know the exact year, but it's sometime here relatively recently. The University of Iowa started a women's rowing / crew team. Okay, so when you hear crew, that's what it's talking about. You know, when they're in the boat and they all row and somebody sits at the front and they race each other. Okay, that's crew. Did you know that, JB? That's what they called it, crew?
Yeah,
right.
It's a crew.
So when you hear women's crew, men's crew, it's talking about rowing. All right. So Iowa started a team. The reason Iowa started a team was Title IX. They're like, the NCAA allows you to give 20 full scholarships to your women's crew team. Keep in mind now that the men's baseball team gets 11.7 scholarships for a 35-man roster. The women NCAA allows 20 full scholarships for the women's crew team. So Iowa didn't have a women's crew team, a rowing team. They go, Title IX, we've got to let's do this. We'll have a women's crew team, give out 20 full scholarships on our women's crew team, and that'll get us in good standing with Title IX. Here's a problem. There are no high school rowing / crew teams out there. There aren't any. So when it came time for registration, they had athletics representatives at Iowa walking around the registration tables, trying to just eyeball, athletic-looking freshman women. They walked up to them and struck up conversations. Where you from? You like sports? Yeah, I did this, played golf in high school with her. You ever heard of women's rowing crew?
They have Lori Laughlin recruiting.
They had, yeah, right. There were girls who said, I've never been in a boat before. And they said, you don't have to be. If you come out and make the women's rowing team, it is a full athletic scholarship. Every book, all your tuition, room and board, and living expenses are paid for. That's how they filled the roster of their first women's rowing team. And here's the real catch. They realized after they did it on short notice, they didn't have anywhere to do it. And a couple of years into it, they went and basically dammed up a creek and built a lake. So they could have a women's rowing team. Thibodeau is on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. What's up, Thibodeau?
Well, a couple things. First off, on this rowing team, Matt, you're describing like a Disney movie.
Oh, I know.
We're putting together a bunch of people that have no business sitting in a long, skinny boat and giving them a scholarship. I just want to know, how did it turn out? Did they do well? Because if they did, it makes it even better.
It makes it even better. You know what? You're exactly right. It'd be a fantastic Disney movie if we add one more layer to the story. Thibodeau, the woman at, hey JB, your mic's on. The woman is at the registration table. They come up and say, and she says, "I've never been in a boat." That's okay. We'll give you a scholarship to be on the rowing team. She owns a Labrador Retriever named Bud, who goes everywhere with her. And Bud turns out to be the person on the front of the boat that goes, "Row, row." You know, Bud just barks. So it's like we're combining the dog, an extraordinary dog. Now we got a Disney movie. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I would say so. Hey, it's okay if JB's mic's on. He can join the conversation too.
I just knew he didn't know. I just knew he didn't know it was on.
All right, so back to Turf Week. I didn't catch something you said yesterday, so I just kind of, turned off on the right stand mower. But when you talk about the possibility of 15% off, you had a conversation with yourself. Well, Thibodeau's got to have a conversation with himself to find out, does Magnolia Lawn Keepers want to add a stand-on mower to the trailer because it's a good deal, or do we want to still try to go after that big bag Kubota because it's a fit?
Yeah. Hey, well, and like I was telling you, so in the stuff that I see of the deals they're offering starting on Saturday at Davini, one of them is they've got some of those Kubota zero-turn mowers. You can get it for $65 a month. That kind of thing's right up my alley. So I may be getting into one of those zero turns myself.
Well, like that $65 is right up my alley because during the winter, when revenue's a little bit down, I can make a $65 a month payment. But during the season, I can double and triple that payment to get paid off soon.
No doubt, no question.
So if Jonathan is listening, Thibodeau from Magnolia Lawn Keepers is coming to see you next week. We got to get a deal done.
You hear that, J-Mac? I'm sending you customers. Gear done. I'm sending you customers. Thanks, Thibodeau. Appreciate the call.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Hey, JB, are the phones empty?
They are now.
Okay, they are. He left. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be doggone. Well, speak of the devil here. What does Flowtown Ghost say? Flowtown Ghost says, but Ole Miss has those 3 football championships. That must be different. I thought of that when I looked at the article from Rick Cleveland. I thought of that. It must be something different, in terms of those national championships in football that are according to a certain service here or there. Because it's football, right? Which technically the postseason doesn't really belong to the NCAA. See, there's a catch in there. What Rick is saying is that no team from Mississippi, a Mississippi school, has ever won a team Division I NCAA title. So this rifle competition is like a tournament put on by the NCAA. The basketball competition put on by the NCAA. They get the revenue. The NCAA does in Indianapolis. The baseball thing, same thing. Football's a lot different, because forever and ever all you had was a bowl game out here that's like an independent thing that would invite you, and some independent organization out here, the Associated Press or the Lindy's Magazine, would recognize that team as the national champion since they won, the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida, which had nothing to do with the NCAA.
Well, a texter reminded me, former employee at Mississippi College, baseball coach there, and also I talked to Brooks just to make sure I had my thoughts right. But MC had a national championship that in Division II that was stripped from them because of some improprieties with work-study benefits.
Yeah.
So there have been a few national championships, but again, not as Rick wrote, in Division I.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's just those things are different. And I'll be honest with you, JB, I'm sitting here 44 years old and still, number one, can't figure out why certain things with the NCAA, why they've never been involved with football at all, but they are baseball and basketball. But two, hadn't ever really been that educated on it, hadn't really been that concerned with it. You know, I know that, like as a media person in the past, when you cover the NCAA basketball tournament, you know, let's say State or Ole Miss is playing in the round of 64 somewhere, like in Charlotte or something. Any highlight, any interview, anything had to be approved by the NCAA. The cups at the venue say NCAA on them. If you showed the highlights, you had to put NCAA on the screen. It's not that way in football. And the reason is the NCAA doesn't get a dime from a bowl game, from conference revenue sharing, from TV contracts from football. The NCAA gets nothing.
I think we need to do away with the NCAA and just get commissioners for all the different sports and leagues.
Czars. Let's call them czar. We had a football czar. I'm the radio czar. That's all I know around here.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
Y'all stick around.
Bad internet is bad for business. We've all been there.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their No Bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if you know who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
problem, call 888-777-9696.
And now the guy who's not bald, he's just taller than his hair is.
Nice hair!
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and worldwide online at thezone1059.com.
Hey! Back with you on a Thursday, rolling along. Gracing us with her presence, and watch the phone lines light up. That's how it always happens every time Annabeth comes here on the show.
Is my mic on?
Your mic is on now.
I tried to talk and it was not on.
I hit the wrong button over here. Sorry about that.
Well, you know, it happens.
Well, it's never your fault, is it? Nothing is ever your fault.
Nothing.
See if,
everything.
Right, see if any of these interest you. Okay. Today is National Marching Band Day. I think it's actually marching music. I'm going to look it up here.
You love that.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Marching Music Day.
Okay.
Marching music. It's like music you march to. See, I don't think that's quite the same as marching band, but that's what day it is. But it's also National Pound Cake Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
That I think JB is excited about that.
I can tell which one.
Pound cake, man.
It was easy to tell which one of those y'all cared about. But here's the other thing. Did you know that cars have a black box in them that record data the same way that airplanes do?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Right. Yep. I'm the same as you, Annie.
No,
what?
I don't believe that.
JB, you knew this?
Yeah, man. That's why they got the computers in there. They can track you if you have satellite radio.
Hey, not if you have an old car.
Not us.
Not us. We're good. We passed.
I would say
we
Matt's
passed.
vehicle is probably safe.
Yeah. My Camry that I just parted with of 20 years, I'm pretty sure it's everything safe that happened there.
I'm 44 years. That shows you how little car shopping we have done in our life.
We just don't care, do we?
We're not car people.
No, we just, whatever.
I mean, I hope mine goes for 600,000, 700,000, 800,000. I'm going to try to get 1 million miles on my car.
Really, Matt?
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's, I'm sorry, let me back up. Los Angeles County Sheriff's executed a search warrant Monday to get data from the black box in the SUV that Tiger Woods was driving when he seriously injured himself in a crash last week. I read that.
But why would you need that?
Well, see, they said initially they go, no, there's no foul play. He wasn't speeding. He wasn't drunk.
Are they trying to see if he was on his phone?
Well, are they trying to, is that it? What would the black box in a vehicle tell you? I have never, listen, y'all, I'm telling you, go ahead and laugh. Those of you who have new vehicles who know this, who knew this previously, go ahead and laugh at me. I don't care. What I'm telling you is, before I read this headline today, I had no clue that vehicles had black boxes in them like airplanes do.
Well, maybe that's why we go together. I didn't know either. Well, and really don't care.
What are they collecting?
Who is they?
Who is they?
Big brother.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Who is they? And what do they need from the black box in the car that I drive?
These oligarchies that run the world.
Who? What does that even mean? How you spell that? I don't know what that means.
OLGAR.
Listen.
Black box.
The rental vehicles that are newer vehicles that I've rented over the last 4 or 5 years for some of these trips and these, a couple of video production trips, a couple other things. I've gone like to North Carolina, and I went to Kentucky, and these could be. Are you telling me that on those trips, I could have had rental vehicles that had A, a black box in it, B, it's recording what I did, how fast I drove, I stopped.
What if you gave me the credit card number over the phone while you were in it?
Somebody could have gotten the credit. What is the black box doing in my car?
These are the kinds of things I don't need to know about because it freaks me out.
To get a warrant, probable cause that a crime was involved.
Where is the black box? What do you mean? Where is it located?
I don't know. To get a warrant, probable cause that a crime was involved has to be determined, even if it's just a misdemeanor. A sheriff's deputy downplayed the warrant as routine.
Well, maybe you ran a stop sign or something. I don't know. But I guess a black box wouldn't catch you running a stop sign, right?
Quote, Sheriff's Deputy John Schlogel said, "We're trying to determine if a crime was committed. If somebody is involved in a traffic collision, we've got to reconstruct the traffic collision. If there was any reckless driving, if somebody was on their cell phone or something like that."
So a black box can detect, does it detect audio? Does it detect GPS? What does a black box contain?
Let me reference this paragraph.
Okay.
The black box data can show a vehicle's speed,
okay,
steering angle, acceleration, and braking activity.
Oh, it can't hear you. That's what you and I.
That's the bingo.
You and I are like,
good. Why is that so funny? It's like you're getting a great big kick out of realizing that you have totally tapped into my thinking process. He didn't say anything about hearing me talk.
It's not like you say a lot of things that aren't good. I mean,
I know,
what are you trying to hide?
I don't want to hide anything. I'm just saying I don't want anybody listening to my conversations.
But it doesn't. Not according to that,
Well,
right?
I mean, but
Did it say it says it can tell if you're on the cell phone?
They didn't say it was limited to those things.
Oh.
Okay. Vehicle speed, steering angle, acceleration, and braking activity. All right. If you have a big wreck and you never hit the brakes, you were asleep or drunk one. Hey, I mean, that's it. So they would look at those kinds of things. All right.
I thought you quoted the guy as saying if he was on his cell phone.
Well, I did. Yeah.
But then your information about what a black box contains did not say that.
Exactly. The quote from the sheriff's deputy: "If somebody's involved in a traffic collision, we've got to reconstruct the collision. If there was any reckless driving, if somebody was on their cell phone or something like that, we determine if there was a crime. If there was no crime, we close out the case and it was a regular traffic collision." What I'm saying is, it's illegal in some states to text and drive.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to know? Well, one way might be if your car knows what you're doing, texting, calling. If the car knows it and records it in the black box and you have a wreck and you kill somebody, and they come back to you and they go, "Were you on your cell phone?" "No, officer." Well, let us check the black box.
Matt, do you think you're a detective now? You trying to kind of hone in on your detective skills here?
What I'm saying?
The last segment, all I learned about was rowing, and that you're probably going to get Mary Liddy a boat before she graduates. Teach her how to row.
She's already got her scholarship.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And now
full scholarship.
And now it's the black box.
Well, the point of this whole conversation
it is a little bit.
Your boy here is going to be driving that 07 Ford Expedition until he's dead. And driving nothing. Guess what's not in that? A black box. Thank you very much.
Oh, gosh.
More Bully on the Davini Equipment phone line. More Bully, you got like 1 minute. It's good to hear from you.
That's funny.
What about it, Wyatt?
Yo! You tell me.
Hey, man, I've been a stranger, I know. I've been feeding those hungry people, man.
Good for you.
Hard work. Hey, man, I'm about to go watch my boy get on that bump and throw some small ball on this beautiful day in Jackson.
There you go.
So that's going to be good.
Well, good luck.
Hey, man, talk about cars and stuff. My wife and I, we've been blessed enough to, I changed jobs, and I work a mile from my house, and she works 5 miles from the house, and she goes right by my office to go to work, so we got rid of her car.
Okay.
That was smart.
We are saving some money, man. We've only been at it for about a month, but if we can survive baseball season, we're going to be fine.
Now, you just got that because you like to go parking with your wife. So you get rid of her car, then she has to ride with you all the time now.
But you ain't got to keep running me off from Clinton Park, man. You know?
I love you, man.
Well, feelings not mutual.
More Bully.
So
Thanks for
anyway.
the call. Good luck on the bump.
Later.
All right, man. Later. All right. We come back. The soothing baritone voice of Louvier on the Davini phone. That's coming up. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Better buy Birdseye. Better buy Birdseye.
Yes, always look for this Birdseye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Birdseye buy this week is Birdseye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Birdseye. Better buy Birdseye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats. The tasty cereal grain everyone should have at breakfast. Crisp and golden as only a toasted oat cereal can be. And nourishing? Why, a Cheerios breakfast gives you the power protein that grown-ups need to help stay in trim and youngsters need to grow on. Toasted oat goodness, toasted oat flavor, a delicious power breakfast. That's Cheerios.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, Smooth Freeze, Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Smooth Freeze, Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech-Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech-Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jello Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen, and go Saints. Had a wonderful morning at Live Oaks Country Club. Played 18 holes with my son. And as I said, I won 15 out of 18 holes, which was 17 out of 20 skins. Yay for me, because he took the first hole. Made a putt, couldn't believe it. I said, oh, my goodness, I'm never going to hear the end of it if this kid wins 11 skins out of 20. I'll have to make him move out of the house. I mean, it's just that's who he is. That's the kid he is.
Mm.
And then I don't know, reality set in for him, and I started hitting it a little bit more in the fairway. In the fairway is better on your golf course there, JB. In the fairway, much better.
I always say fairways and greens, and you seem to play pretty well if you can do those two things.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Hey, so listen, the black box thing, I'm no detective, but I've watched some detective shows. What they're going to do is they're going to figure out the exact moment of the crash, and they're going to paw that up with his cell phone records and see if indeed he was texting while driving, and they're going to make him the poster child for don't text and drive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he might even make money off of it. They're going to give him a $400 texting and driving ticket. I think Tiger can cover it. But yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're spending a lot of time and a lot of money. I mean, heck, I don't mind saying my son was mugged in Jackson on Friday.
What?
Gun put in his face, and they're not putting it as much time and effort into figuring that out as they are about whether or not Tiger was texting and driving. Hey, newsflash, he's texting and driving. That's why he didn't hit the brakes, and he went off the cliff and flipped the car and crushed his leg. And everybody's happy he's alive. But there's real crime going on, so why don't we solve some real crime? Texting and driving is bad. Don't do it. That's the public service announcement from Louvier. Live Oaks Country Club. It's a nice course, and today's a beautiful day. Thanks again, JB. Hey, I love you.
You're welcome,
Go
pal.
Saints.
Thanks, Olivier. Appreciate you. You know, the first adamant don't text and drive campaign that I remember
No. What?
was the partnership between C Spire and Dexter McCluster.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember that.
There were like commercials everywhere and TV, radio.
You're right.
All kinds of stuff. And it was Dexter McCluster saying, don't text and drive. What is Dexter McCluster doing these days, I wonder?
I love Dexter McCluster.
I enjoyed him too when he was a member of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Where is he?
Let's
Did he get the
hope
Titans?
he's not texting and driving.
I bet he's not. He
Absolutely.
went to the
Titans.
He did, and then I think his career just kind of ended.
Just
after
wrapped
that.
up.
Yeah, I'd love to know where he is now, what he's doing.
He was fun to watch, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. He really was.
He was so quick.
He was quick. Am I right? He's the one who had that Fumblerooski touchdown in the Egg Bowl.
I can't remember.
2005. It was either 05 or I think it was 05. Let me see here. Okay, 05. Because the 07. 08 was Oxford, so 06 would have been Oxford. 06. It was the one that I did. I was the analyst on television with Walker Jones.
Okay.
For the Egg Bowl in 06.
Okay.
In between us was Gary Darby. Gary did play-by-play, and the Egg Bowl was
That's
broadcast on CSS.
That's right.
It's now gone away, but it was
old school. It was old school.
Yeah, and the two analysts were me and Walker Jones, and we're both 6'5".
Yeah.
And seeing Gary Darby's about 5.5 feet tall, so they put an apple box between us and had him stand on it for the opening on TV.
Like what you used to sit in when you get your hair cut when you're a little kid.
That's right.
So that y'all would all be even.
Yeah.
My dad-in-law, my wife's father, God rest his soul, he coached football for a long, long time, but he coached Walker Jones when Walker was in 8th grade. And he called me up. We were living in Baton Rouge at the time. He called me up and says, John, I tell you what, boy. He said, I got a cat on this team that's even better than you think you were. I never will forget that. I said, who is it? And he said, Walker Jones. And I went, oh, wow.
That's great.
And then he grew up.
And he never let me forget that, especially when he was at Ole Miss.
Then he grew up and married a sorority sister of mine.
Oh, really?
It's just a small world, isn't it?
It's a small world.
It's a small world after all. Small world after all.
Let's see here. Anthony from Tupelo says, I may be way behind on the show, but my wife and I just got a new vehicle. It has so much technology in it that it'll almost drive itself.
Wow. And look, you are Mr. Technology. You love it. We've discussed this before. But when it comes to cars and technology, You're not there, are you?
Don't want it.
No. Too much to hassle with.
Not in the car.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want anything.
I'm afraid that would draw your attention away from the road the way you are.
Yeah.
You don't need any gadgets in your car.
No.
You need old school. You need it.
Technology, huh?
Yeah, he doesn't need any gadgets in the car.
I'm telling you, my dream vehicle, and I'm going to do it before I kick the bucket one of these days.
Oh, okay.
Is a replica, or make it, get it restored and make it a replica of the old pickup truck from Sanford and Son. That's in the opening to the show, Sanford and Son.
This is news to me.
I'm telling you, I want that, and I want to drive that. That's what I want to drive.
Okay.
Look, if you had that, you know what I want? I want a VW microbus. I want one of those old
the little
vans.
Little rectangular. You really are a hippie. Doggone, JB.
You mean like what Scooby-Doo rode around
Yes,
in?
that's what he means. He
no,
probably
that
wants
was
to.
that was like a conversion van. I'm talking about the old Volkswagen vans.
Yeah.
They painted and had peace signs and loved one another.
Right, exactly. Hippie. See, JB's an old hippie who actually, he wants one of those vans. And you know who those vans are popular with now, JB?
Uh-huh.
The hipsters.
Oh.
They
The
talk about
hipster.
Oh, they're remodeling them.
Hippie to hipster.
They are remodeling them. They're living in them. And all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
Get you one of them vans, man.
Put it down by the river.
Somebody sent me a link here. Fox Sports link. Forensic experts suggest Tiger Woods may have fallen asleep at the wheel. That's why we need the black box.
Aw. Well, I think the whole thing is just awful.
I do too. I'm just glad he's okay. Now, listen, y'all, this is big news. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. We're not getting into the details. I'm giving you the headlines. It's out there. You may have seen it already, but you may not. This is pretty recent as of today. This breaking news that's out here today within the last hour. Former LSU football coach Les Miles was accused of texting female students, taking them to his condo alone, making them feel uncomfortable, and on at least one occasion, kissing a student, according to an internal investigative report released by LSU. I haven't had a chance to read it, so that's out there. You're going to see it all over the place. You're going to hear it all over the place. Prepare yourselves. If there are any details by the time we get back with y'all here tomorrow, we'll let you know. On tomorrow's show, we'll go into a little bit of a preview of the new baseball opponent for state, Kent State, coming in to start with this weekend. Belmont, who is a basketball school from the Nashville area, is going to be playing baseball against Ole Miss in Oxford. You familiar with Belmont?
Belmont is a musical school, right?
Very musical.
Yeah.
But hosted or has hosted several times like presidential debates and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know who they are, but I don't know much about them.
Small private school, I think, but I think they have a religious affiliation.
Yeah, they do. It's Baptist.
Baptist school? Okay.
Yeah, when I was in seminary, the seminary had a semi-pro basketball team, and we had a couple guys on there that had played at Belmont.
Yeah.
They have a big country.
They have a sure enough legit basketball program. I mean, they're always a threat to be in the NCAA tournament, win their league, and ruin somebody's season in the first couple of rounds.
So
of the NCAA
Belmont
tournament.
plays Ole Miss, and Kent State plays State this weekend.
That's right, Kent State at State. And we were looking at it. Kent State is no slouch of a baseball program. They in 2012 they were in the College World Series. In 2018, under their current head coach right now, they won 40-plus games. They're like 42 or whatever in 18.
Did you tell me that two of their coaches played?
Yeah, I was looking that up. Their head coach was a major leaguer, major league outfielder for the Mets for a couple of years in like 05, 06, for the Blue Jays. He's now their head coach. Their pitching coach was a major league starting pitcher in the 80s for the Brewers. And then he had a stint with the Mets, I think himself. And he's been like the pitching coach of the year a few times and all the.
Wow.
It's a legit program. I mean, they've had kids drafted, and they're.
Where is Kent State?
It's Ohio.
Okay.
Yep. It's a famous line in that song, 10 Soldiers and Nixon Coming. It's called Ohio by Neil Young. Crosby, Stills, and Nash sat in there with them too. But yeah, they were famous for the National Guard snafu when some students were killed in a peaceful protest back in '69.
Oh, and that was Kent State. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
So those should be good matchups this weekend.
Yeah, it will be. And weather is going to be A-okay.
Good baseball weather.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be perfect.
You're so excited, aren't you?
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right.
My man.
See you tomorrow, JB. Appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. I want you to take a picture when that surprise gets there.
Okay. Yes, we'll do.
Right.
We'll definitely keep our eyes peeled for that.
You guys have a good evening.
You too. For the homecoming queen, for JB, and for everybody here at the show, I'm Matt. See y'all tomorrow. See ya.